FIFA World Cup see themselves actually where they want to see themselves out of the group stages. It means so much to the continent, noting that the other teams like Ghana have performed so well.
Well, we said it earlier, you know, most of the African teams going to the World Cup wants to prove something for themselves. And I'm very, very happy for not only South Africa, but the whole of African continent. You could see they are playing, they are giving everything. You know, we said that South Africa they had their destiny in their own hands, and then they were able to grab it. As you saw today, they saw the sense of urgency. You know, they knew they could do something. They were the most created chances. They were a team that created a lot of chances. You could see they had something, but I think there were a bit of impatience. You know, the mental game was there. You know, you saw Masako, who was doing a lot. Today, it looks like everything was on him, and then he was able to grab it. You know, so the whole team performance was good. They were able to fight together. You know, they created a lot of chances. Kudos to South Africa. They deserve the win today.
Stig, I mean, if you're able to even put it into words right now, what this means. You've plied your trade and you've worn and donned the national jersey. But then to see this moment that a lot of South Africans have been waiting for, especially looking at where our players are playing across the world. We've got CAF Champions League winners. I mean, the team is so experienced. And never to have made it out the group stages, 16-year wait to return to the FIFA World Cup. And today, round of 32, done and dusted.
Wow. You know what, Tato, after our first performance in Mexico, it was difficult to believe that we'll progress to the next round. The second half against the Czechia, I think that's where we found ourselves. That's where we played to our strengths. Today, from the get-go, we could see from a starting lineup that if we were going to lose, we were going to give it our all. And I think brilliant decision there from Hugo Broos. But just to go back to when Hugo Broos took over South Africa and Bafana Bafana, I think it was a blessing from above, because whoever gave him that job knew what they were doing, or it was just a lucky draw. But somehow it worked out for South Africa. And even if we left this World Cup and Hugo Broos retired, he's left South Africa in a better state. We've got mostly locally based players, but we've proved today that we can box with the best. What a performance. And Baby Jet, he said Korea's going to win.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm trying to keep it all professional, intact, but we were running around the studio like crazy. And thank you for that. We'll be watching Ghana.
The camera should have seen him behind the scene, what he was doing.
But I think that's the beauty about football. It brings everybody together. But now, Amanda, you know, listening to Sticker, he does mention that Hugo Broos has left an indelible mark on South Africa and Bafana Bafana, but also the performance of the team today. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, we didn't see this kind of performance against Mexico, like Stiga said, maybe against Czechia in the second half. But today, they arrived, they knew what they had to do, and Thapelo Maseko Batung.
No, I think Thapelo Maseko really had an outstanding game. I think it was a little bit frustrating, to be honest, because he kept on trying. And I think these are the games that I think Maseko really excels, because he plays almost like an inverted winger. So it just allows him that space to go at defenders with the kind of speed that he has. 32 touches today, 11 ground duels won. And I think just in terms of creativity as well, it's 8 progressive passes. That is the kind of contribution that I think for me gets you a match winner. And he scored the goal, which is quite promising and good confidence for him. But all in all, I think the boys, they stuck to the game plan, which was not to get really overexcited. Be patient with the game, and I think just execute it. The subs also came in, and I think the intensity was just to match. So it was just all about work rate today.
It was about work rate, and there was a moment in time where perhaps, Asamoah, you felt that Thapelo Maseko had lost his confidence when he had one of his attempts go wide. And then he came back, though, to show the kind of grit and fight that they had today as South Africa, that even though sometimes the chips are down, we're able to pick ourselves up within a second, and that's exactly what they need to go and progress through to the round of 32 and see how they actually perhaps go further than the round of 32.
Yes. A tournament like a World Cup, high tournament like this magnitude, a player like Maseko, you know, South Africans, it looks like everything was dependent on him today. You know, he had a couple of chances that didn't go well for him. You know, mentally, for me, he will go down, but he kept on fighting. You know, he went down for a bit. His gestures and everything, I was watching him, you know, but he came back and got a goal for South Africa. You know, but not only him, the commitment of the players. Now, after the goal, they were able to defend. They were more compact. You know, the resilience of the team. You know, they kept on fighting. You know, they was excellent. You
Yeah.
know, so going forward, if they can play like that, I think the South African team has got a bright future. They have a good coach who also did a couple of changes. You know, tactically he was very, very good. You know, somebody who has been there before when it comes to African soccer.
Cameroon, yeah.
He has been there before. You know, so going there with South Africa and taking them to the next stage of the competition for the first time in the history. Kudos to the whole team, and congratulations to South Africa.
Well, a South African side that obviously were hosts in 2010, 16 years since they were at the FIFA World Cup. But this time around, Bafana Bafana through to the round of 32 out of the group stages. And of course, Monterrey will now have a very, very special place to Bafana Bafana, the fans out there, and Hugo Bruce, who we caught up with just after the game. And I think, Asamo, we spoke about that when you mentioned England and Ghana, that sometimes you have to go out in the field and show and prove that mettle that you have, prove that you wanted more. And that's exactly what Bafana did today.
Yes, a coach is there to guide the players, you know, to show you the tactic, how to move and everything. But we said that everything is all about mental. And when you are going in a tournament, the most important is not to concede. When you are defensively sound, I'm sure you're going to get everything right. And that is what the South Africans did today. You know, they were very, very strong. I think this is the first time I've seen them fighting like that. You know, they know how to play football. They do everything. But off the ball, how to defend is what is lacking with the South African team. But today, they show they can compete. You know, so as I always say, I have to just congratulate them. You know, when I see a team fighting like that, what else can I say? You have to just congratulate them.
I mean, physically you can prepare a team, Stiga. You can tactically prepare a team, but mental stealth and strength is exactly what we saw today, especially when it comes to a Thapelo Maseko, who, like I said, even when the chips are down, was able to bring himself up again. And that was what's important for Bafana Bafana today.
And motivation. And I think that's what the boys displayed today. They really gave it their all, and that comes from the technical team. It's Hugo Bruce and his guys and everybody. But there were some standout performances today. I think the defense as a whole, from Modiba to Mudau on the right-hand side, to goalkeeper, Mbokazi and Okon were excellent. Mbata and Sithole, what a bounce back, you know. I have to put it out there. I'm not a big fan of Sithole. First game, very bad.
I was about to say, Stiga.
Today, the first 15 minutes, Amanda actually alerted me to the fact that he was playing safe. He was looking for his confidence. He was playing back. He was playing sideways. And then all of a sudden, everybody around him was getting stuck in. And then Sithole rose. And now we can actually see what they value in Sithole. You know, he's big. Physically, he's big, but he's comfortable in the ball. And when he has the confidence to receive the ball side on, his crisp passes, he had a few diagonals, you know, very, very happy with him. And then, of course, the goal scorer, Maseko.
The goal scorer, Maseko. And I think if you look at the whole entirety as a team, it really was a team effort as well. When we're speaking about Yaya Sithole, speaking about the likes of Oswin, Rele, so many of them coming on. But if you really have to rate all the players, over 500%. But then, of course, the goal from Maseko.
Yeah, I think it was so rewarding because he kept on making this sort of move where he starts out wide to give himself a little bit of room, and then he cuts in because he's looking for that 1v1. He did this in the previous game and he got a penalty from it. He does it again. So I think the coach just kept encouraging him. And I briefly said this to Asamoah as well. It is important for him to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Because as long as you just keep trying, it's repetition. And I think it finally...